Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Intuitive Air by Be a Messenger LLC. Welcome if this is your first time joining for a video. Welcome back if you've been here before. I do have some messages for you. And as I was getting ready for the reading, I actually got a couple of messages that I think are relevant for this reading. One is that my hair is kind of big today. The curls are really big. So I was drawn to say that this message may be for someone who has a Leo somewhere, the Leo sign somewhere in their chart, or someone for which the reading is about someone involving a Leo. I actually happen to be a Leo moon myself. I'm a Gemini sun, but I am a Leo moon. And so definitely pay attention if this suits you about the Leo. Also too, I was led to wear my reading glasses, which I do wear often for work when I'm looking at a lot of screens and small print. So I was directed to put my glasses on, my reading glasses on today, and I did when I initially shuffled the deck and pulled the cards out so that I could look at them. But there must be something that my ancestors do not want me to miss telling you. So we've got that going on too. And as I was shuffling the deck, I am using Oracle of the Seven Energies again. This is a beautiful deck that speaks to me very easily. So when I was shuffling, this card, the Uncharted Sea, actually fell out. And so I am using that as part of my spread today. But also too, another card came out. This one, the Storyteller. I have gotten this card repeatedly on many messages recently. So I think it's really just driving home the message that this is for someone who has a story to tell, or someone who is contemplating telling a story. You might be in, I just heard talks about a story. So some of you may be involved with an editor or a book publisher or something like that in order to tell your story. Or maybe you're at the beginning of your guidance on how to tell your story. What's the best way to do that? So I've gotten some other cards too, right next to the Storyteller in my spread, and I usually do a 6-card spread. It is what it is. All right, and I'm going to integrate that in here too. I've also got Quieting the Mind. Isn't this beautiful? And I've got Time Machine, and I've also got the Royal You. All right, so the story just continues to come together here. So as I look at the Storyteller card, and with the Uncharted Sea that came out right before that, that tells me that whoever you are, for many of you, you definitely have an important story that your ancestors or spiritual guides want you to actually tell. You might not be as pressed about telling the story, but they are pressed, and they want this story told. And it tells me your ancestors are here because you see that feather in there. For me, that always represents ancestors and lets me know that they're in the reading. And when the Uncharted Sea came first, that for me, that felt like a powerful energy. And what it's saying is that telling your story might be something you've never done before, or it may be something that, it may be a situation where the barrier has been that trying to tell your story feels too difficult, or you don't know how to go about doing it. So that's what Uncharted Sea says a lot to me, and it's right by the Storyteller card in my spread. But on the other side of the Storyteller card is this card, It Is What It Is. And I think that's very self-explanatory. In whatever challenges you have been facing about how, when, why to tell your story, or to package it in a certain way where maybe it's more likely to get published, or if you're self-publishing, I heard that you want to find a way to get others' attention. But I'm hearing that it really is what it is. They don't want you to sugarcoat it. They don't want you to tell it any differently to get views, I heard, or clicks. What they want you to do is just tell the story how it has occurred for you. Okay, so it definitely sounds like you are the main person in the story this time. All right. But they want you to tell it just like it is. They don't need you to change anything that you may be contemplating. Say if you're wanting to tell the story differently, where it may be more palatable for an audience. But they want you to just tell it like it is. Okay. They want you to just put it out there. All right. And this other one, quieting the mind, that brings to mind for me that this is going to be a way that you ease into this message, okay? Where you ease into writing this book. Although it may be uncharted territory for you, the thing that they're saying they're going to be helping you with is being able to do this in a way you've not done it before, and your spiritual guidance is going to come through quieting the mind. Whether you do meditation actively or you just sit quietly and channel messages that way, but you're going to need to quiet the mind to get this story out of you the way your spiritual guides want you to tell it, okay? And I just heard where it would have the most impact. All right, so know that they want you to be quiet. And there's a star. You see the star in the middle? As I put the card down, I just saw that star in the middle. And this tells me that this is writing this story is going to bring some very good energy to your life once you get started on getting it out. Okay, so this is going to benefit you as well as anyone that reads your story or is there if you tell your story orally, say if you're a poet or something like that and you do spoken word or something, that this is going to be some beautiful energy coming at you, but you're going to need to quiet your mind in order to channel it as your spirit guides want you to. All right, and I got these two cards go together. These are on the bottom of my spread. This is Time Machine, and this is the Royal You. Beautiful cards, as usual. Now, what it's telling me from both of those cards is that this may be a story that requires you to go back in time to be able to tell it. And I'm also getting strongly that this is a story that you may have to do some research about the past in order for it to be relevant for this particular story. And I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. The messages are coming pretty fast. So let me try to slow it down some. So going back in time may be research that you need to do in order to tell your story. Also, too, since it's right next to meditation, maybe it is that your spirit guides, whomever they are, were available far before you, so they need you to go back in time to connect with their energy in order for you to complete this project, okay, of this storytelling, whether you're going to write it or speak it. Okay, and with the Royal You in particular, it's giving me the message that you have some royal lineage. I don't know how far back it was, but it's telling me this is the energy that they want you to connect with, your previous royal energy. Okay, so the story may be about those of the past that is relevant to who you are right now, or a story about who they were that you feel like has great value for you to tell. But what I'm also seeing with the storyteller is that this may not be your story at all. This may be your ancestor's story that they want you to tell. Okay, so the story for some of you may not have anything to do with you at all, but the way that you're going to learn what you need to do is through quieting the mind. Okay, so they're going to need you to sit quietly, and I just heard so that you can communicate with them about what this story needs to be properly told. So that's what I'm getting for you today on this message. I've had several messages about storytelling when that card comes out, and it's the major part of the reading. And this adds some urgency. Whoever you are, that is contemplating telling this story. Maybe you don't know how to start, maybe you don't know how to go about it, or you know, who you need to contact or how you need to write it. Know that because I keep getting this same energy in similar ways, that this adds urgency. Okay, this adds urgency because it keeps coming out. All right, so definitely it's going to help to, I'm getting the message to tell you, connect with your ancestors and your spirit guides so that they can tell you what to do, so they can guide you on this part of the journey. And you may especially hear from a particular ancestor. See, we've got that feather there, and a specific ancestor, you know, which is, you know, back in time. For most of us who are on our human experience here, they need you to go back to discovering more about or connecting with an ancestor who has some kind of royal energy. And maybe the story is about these folks in your lineage, in your spiritual lineage. I've been told to say spiritual lineage, so not necessarily human lineage where they were here. They were here on this earth at some point in time. So that may not be the case. This may be somebody that is farther back in time, that, and I'm hearing from some of you, some of you may not have much research to do on this particular ancestor because they are so far back in time that the documents to research may not be available. So I'm getting for some of you that they need you to connect with them by quieting your mind, and they'll tell you what you need to do. They'll tell you how the story needs to be told. They'll tell you when the story needs to be told. But it's become a more urgent message, I think, because it continues to come out. So I want you to, you know, speed it up a little bit on trying to get this project done of getting this story told, so that you can be on your way to telling the story that they feel like needs to be told. And for some reason, when you're connecting with them, I'm sensing that they feel as though, you know, your spiritual guides feel as though you are the only one that can tell this story, or you're the best one to be tasked with telling this story. So they need you to step up. Okay, they need you to step up, get this story written, get this story told, however you need to do it. But they want you to connect with them so they can guide you in this process, so that they can help you with making it come true, because this really is uncharted territory for you. All right. Okay, everybody. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, so it helps the video circulate, and that way I can understand more about which messages you all are, you know, most appreciative of hearing, you know, so I can sort of tune in to the collective at some point a little bit better than maybe now, so I can provide the readings that you all want to hear. And I really appreciate you staying here for the whole message. I try to keep the messages as brief as possible, so it doesn't require a whole lot of your time to actually watch them, and I can get to the point in the message very, very quickly. So thanks again, and have a wonderful rest of the day, guys.